Welcome to today's episode of CLCI Live, brought to you by the award-winning and ICF accredited school, Certified Life Coach Institute. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode.
Go ahead and introduce today's topic, peoples.
Spooky 101. Last week we talked about, what did we talk about?
It's Scary 101, thank you. And I think you already registered your complaint that you don't think any of the topics are scary enough.
They're not scary enough. I want, like, aggressive R-rated.
Oh my gosh.
We talked about last week toxic positivity.
Yeah.
This week we're talking about the white knight complex, or the longer title, the destructive power of the savior complex when helping others can cause more damage than good. So, why is helping people a bad thing? That's what we're talking about.
Before we get there, let's just talk about helping people.
I don't do that.
Does anybody have, I think that's something that draws people to this profession, right? Is like the desire to
For
help.
sure.
I guess so.
So before we talk about how it's going wrong, let's talk about that process. Why do we help people? Why do we want to help people? What is it in us that makes us do that?
Well, instead of like a hypothetical question, we could ask specifically, Jen, do you like helping people?
I do.
Why do you like helping people?
Such a good question that I've not really reflected that deeply on. So
It is a good question.
So I like helping people because I like connecting with people. And I like connecting with people through helping people. It makes me feel like I have some sort of, purpose in moment to moment things with people where I'm being helpful. I was gonna say, it makes me feel good, but then I'm thinking, why? Why does that make me feel good? I don't know. Service to others, helping people, it's kind of heartwarming.
Okay. You said connecting to people. I wanted to kind of challenge you on that a little bit. Is it possible to connect with people and not help them?
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Okay. So then why choose helping people to do the connecting part?
That's a really good question. I don't know. It's got me wondering if it's somehow attached to like my worthiness, that like I attach being able to help people to me being worthy. Although
Worthy of what?
life.
This is where we send Jen into an existential crisis.
I know.
I think
Flashbacks to my
I
therapy.
think what she's describing, though, is something that, if not most, many of the students will come in. They find the journey where it's rewarding, for whatever reason, rewarding to themselves. But oftentimes they get confused with supporting the client versus rescuing that client. They find their self-worth and their abilities to be the savior of that person versus let that person find their route and save themselves. They get the two confused. I don't think, Jen, you're confused about that so much.
No.
Well, what do we get from helping somebody?
Validation. I think that's a big part of it. So before we move on, I can say I thought about this while we were digging into our research. This question, that specific question that Anthony asked, and I think it's got to do with the fact that it's part of kind of, at least for me, it's how I was raised. I was raised helping others around me, being the only guy in the house. Also having two sisters come into life with me at the same time, always feeling like the person that, had to be right by their side whenever they were dealing or encountering something. I think it has a lot to do with how you're raised. And similar to that, my mom, she kind of raised me. She's a very caring person, so it rubbed off on me. So I think it's a lot to do with my childhood.
If if I dig into it, because I'm like, it's just kind of dovetails hand in hand with like people pleasing and things like that. And I've gotten much better about it, but like, you know, I was the oldest kid. My job was to take, my brother and sister were super younger than me.
Yeah.
And on top of that too, I didn't always have like the most stable house. So I ended up assuming this sort of caretaker role as in this oldest role. And like, that became really natural for me to do, right? Like for me to be the oldest sibling, to make sure my brother and sister were okay. And that became just like a normal dynamic in my life. And it was a way of expressing my love as well, right? It became a way of expressing my love for them. And that's fine and good when they're younger, but when they became adults, it actually became a kind of a sticking point with us, because there came a point where I couldn't be there to take care of them, and they had to sort of fend for themselves. And I remember my brother at one point being like, "You just left me." And I was like, well, I had to take care of me, and you were an adult. You had to figure it out, you know? And so he had to go through this growth thing later in life, because his big sister wasn't there to catch him when he fell, and he expected that forever. And I just wasn't in a place where, for myself personally, I could. And I mean, mind you, we come through the other side and we're fantastic and it's awesome. But it definitely was an indication that there was like a somewhat codependent dynamic going on. But I would say from that, I mean, it was a way of expressing my love, a way of receiving love, getting that thank you, knowing that I could, that the people I love had what they need, were taken care of, were safe. And that brings a sense of safety to me too, right? Because if I'm important in their lives and helping them, they're gonna need me, and they're not gonna kick me to the curb. They're gonna, I'm gonna be kept in their lives. I'm important, I matter to them, like all of these things, but it's all external validation, right? Like it's all so it's a scary place to be, because you're relying a lot on your self-worth. You're putting your self-worth in others ultimately, right?
I totally agree.
And I don't think it's wrong. I just think it's probably something we all do at some point or another. But we have to learn how much in a healthy way to do that. There's a really good video we watched that sort of goes into that. So with helping others, before we move on, what was it helping others that brought you to the coaching field? Was that what made you guys? I know, Anthony, that's not the case. But we can
it's not really the case with Jerome, but let's say today.
Yeah, or Jen or Lisa could probably answer that better.
Yes, for me, definitely. Absolutely.
It is something, that cliche thing that we always say. It's something that I've always done. Just like you, Brooke, I'm the eldest of my siblings, and it's a natural tendency for us to try and take care of things. With coaching, I was already basically doing it in a different format, and I definitely was not following the rules back in that day. But yeah, something, a self-help process since I was in my 20s. So I've got a lot of time in there and a lot of people that I would interact with.
So let's talk about like how helping others can be destructive now. So sort of like, okay, Nick Danger is going to be on screen no matter what. He's not taking no for an answer. So
Also,
trying to be
Ryan,
helpful.
You can just talk to the
Yeah.
people.
There you go.
I don't think you have a way.
Gotcha. I am not related to Lexa Doig, but
Also-
I will.
Also, we haven't introduced Ryan, I think.
Oh my goodness!
Oh yeah, I can't believe we.
That's
We just
okay.
put him on
Who
the
is this
show.
guy?
Just blending in,
Wow,
I'm
yeah.
Ryan Doig. I'm their new CT lead, so I'm in the background doing all the tech stuff.
Well, you're not in the background today. We love it.
Not today. Heck yeah, joining the mains.
So
All right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you were just going on about how helping people can be
And let's
destructive.
talk about, before we get into how it might be destructive for us, the ones helping, how can it harm someone, the person we are helping?
They don't want your help. They didn't want it, and they didn't ask for it.
How is it harmful, though? If I'm helping, I'm helping. How is that a bad thing?
It's harmful because I don't want it. Leave me alone. You're annoying me.
But I helped.
I think for me, I'm ADHD, so a lot of the time I have this mental process that I'm going through. So when people start helping, I'm like, wait, well, okay, now I have to shift things. Now, I mean, it's grateful, I appreciate it, but now I have to adjust my entire mind process. And so I think that's one way that could definitely be damaging and not super helpful, even though it's helpful.
Yeah, like
To,
you've got a
help other
system.
people.
I've got a
Exactly.
established mental or physical system I'm working with, which might not be the most effective, but it's a system. And then someone else
My system.
with their savior complex is trying to make it better, and it throws you off your groove. And it's also
So
not helpful.
that's an important, we just scratched the surface of something really important in that, right? Like, we have just sort of tapped into something. What's happening when I'm helping someone that doesn't really want my help, that has a presumption? What is what is it doing for me at that point? What am I assuming about myself? How about that?
Oh, well, I wouldn't know if you're assuming something, but I would say there's usually self-esteem or lower self-esteem attached with that. Is that what you're asking?
No, I think if I'm saying I can help you, I'm going to help you. And Ryan and Anthony are saying we don't want your help. And I insist, no, I can help you. There's a better way to do this. There's this way to do this. I can help. Let me help. I'm assuming
not
I know
capable.
better, right? Like,
But I'm not capable of helping myself in that you know better and are better. And
I've got some insight
I should be grateful.
or greater perspective, something I know that you couldn't possibly know, which might be true, you never, especially in the case of Anthony. But
Wait, am I, which end am I on? Am I on the helping
Heavy
end or
shots
the...
fired today.
Bad one. You're on the weaker end.
I would say
No, I disagree.
If that isn't true, though, it could really stunt someone's confidence, right? If you're always there to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
grab their arm and help them along the way, maybe they need to fall a couple times to
Yeah.
develop their
That was-
confidence.
it was with my brother. That was sort of what happened, is when he was like, well, he had to like figure out how to do life without me there. And he didn't know. And so it was hard for him. And he kind of got mad at me for it too. He kind of resented me for it. But then I think in the long run, he's fantastic, right? But he feels like he learned his lessons. He felt like at the time when we were working through this, like later than he should have. Like, I should not have been such a like protective force and should have let him stumble more and learn more. And like it was almost stunted him a little bit because of that. And that's sort of what might happen. We're not letting them learn the hard lessons, letting them figure out their failures.
There's also harm, I think, in the idea that what works for me is absolutely going to work for you. Like, I know the way. I've definitely done a lot of work in that space and realized I know a lot of ways, but they're my ways, and they may not at all work for somebody else.
Guarantee you no other human being, maybe Ryan in this room has a process for keeping their house clean or trying to keep their house clean the way that I do, because everybody else looks at me like I'm nuts, because I have ADHD and it's chaos, and then I clean like, and people, I mean, it's just what it is. That's my process. Okay, it is what it is. And I even have the organization in my piles. Like, I know what's in that pile. It's and it's okay. I've come to accept that about me. But if you came in and told me, well, this is how you organize things and we do it this way, it's like,
Right.
you're teaching me calculus, like you're teaching me quantum physics at that point, and I'm just not. That is not how my brain works, and it's just not going to happen. You can give me all the techniques in the world. I might know them, but employing them in a way that works for me is a whole other game. You don't even know the process just to make sure I don't lose my keys.
Which you do, by
Which
the way.
I do, yeah.
What's
Right
your
now, she doesn't know where her phone is.
I have to put it in the same spot every single time, and I have to I have to make sure I pause and think and like take that beat to put it up on the same spot every time. Otherwise, I'll throw it and I will have no idea of where I threw them whatsoever.
I am the
and then
same exact way.
there goes an hour of my day.
The one random time
So
that I put in the right spot, hour's gone.
As a rescuer, I could try and tell her what to do and where to put her her stuff. But honestly, how is that going to work?
I was about to do it. I was gonna say just nail it to the wall like I do.
But it's not going to work for long, because what happens is that nail to the wall is not her solution. It's not the way her brain is going to think, okay, now what did I do with that? And so a lot of people that come into coaching think I've got the solutions. I have people coming to me for my advice. And that's the piece that they're missing. They're not coming to them for their advice. They're really not. They're coming to be heard. They're coming to be connected to a lot of the things that we've already spoken about. But that advice piece, they might say, I want your advice. But if it's not coming from them, there's no ownership and there's no memory, really, sustainability.
And there's no guarantee it will work for them, right? Like, in the case of my keys, Jerome, it is right by nailed to a wall. But there's a second piece for it to work. It has to be right by the door, like within, and it has to be really easy for me to just go open key, pull it out, put it somewhere. If there's a longer distance between there, it's over. It's like, that's not going to happen. So it has to literally be as close as humanly possible to the door. For laundry, and people look at me cross-eyed about this all the time. I don't do laundry anymore. Like I just have accepted. My brother was one. He was like, Brooke, you just have to accept you cannot fold and put your clothes away. It's not going to happen for you. So I don't, and I send them out. Somebody else does. It comes back folded, and I put it away. And I try to put it away pretty quick. I've gotten better, but at least it's folded and organized, and I know it's clean. But I'm not. People are like, just why don't you do it yourself? You have a laundry machine now, because it never will happen. I'll end up buying clothes instead of washing my own clothes.
You know what I'm hearing, Brooke? A black and white statement.
But I've been given a million different ways by people to tell me what to do with my laundry, and then finally it was like, no, this just does not work in my room. I tried. But that being said, what you sort of mentioned something in this piece of ownership. So what happens? Let's say I give Ryan some great advice on where to put his keys. And let's say it works for him. It's great. What happens to Ryan mentally or in his life when he employs advice I have given him, when I successfully save him?
He'll come back to you.
I was going to say, I could speak on that directly because having ADHD, having those processes interrupted many, many times, I've been given advice, and every time it has worked, I'm like, great, I'm going to go back to that person because clearly they know what I should be doing. I'm going to just keep going to them instead of thinking for my own self. And in complete honesty, there was a point in my life not that long ago where I found myself asking the most simple questions. And then as I'm asking them, I'm like, wait, I didn't need to ask this because I'm a normal, smart human being. I could have done it myself. And so it kind of plays into that dependency on the person that gave the advice.
I see Jen's face right now.
So fascinated by Ryan. In like a good, curious way.
I was going to say, elaborate. I'm confused.
No, that's just so interesting. And I mean, I like that you come on your first live and you immediately share something vulnerably. Like, I love it.
He knows how we get down here.
I think that even Jen can relate a little bit to that statement too, though, because Jen will, one of her favorite things to do is pop a question in, especially if she's early on, and she'd be like, "No, don't answer that. Don't answer it. I'm gonna figure it out myself."
Yes, when I first started here, I easily would just ask a question, get an answer. You know, you guys were catching fish for me and I was eating them and everything was good. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm not learning. I'm becoming dependent on them to answer my question. So I would say, don't answer that or pause. Wait till I come back, because I'm usually good. If you give me a little more time, I'll realize what I'm doing and then I'll go figure it out on my own. And then I really learn it. And once I started figuring stuff out on my own, then I started to really retain stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. In that respect, because I did the same exact thing. What I've recently started doing for myself is when I feel that question coming up, instead of immediately asking it to someone, I pose it to myself. I turn a camera out on myself and I'm like, hey, what do I do here? And then I give myself that moment to answer the question before I go bother someone and, you know, ask the question that I can already answer myself. But yeah, no, I completely agree there.
I still have relapses though. I think I had a couple today.
We all do.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Ask Jerome. I've asked him millions of questions. He answered the first day. I was like, wait.
I asked you something, Brian, or I asked it, what does that mean? And I thought, Jen, you literally could have just Googled that. Like, what are you doing?
I'll have like opposite moments too. I mean, I'll have those same moments too where I just like throw it out there and I'm like, wait, I don't need to make this your work. I can figure this out. Like, I don't need to you know, hand this. But I'll do the opposite too, though, where I'll like, without thinking, just do something that I probably should have asked somebody else to do. And so like, it'll go the other way. And then I'll go, okay, Brooke, how can you ask other people to do these things? Which, I mean, takes us out of the subject here, but it doesn't, because there's something at this point that was brought up of, okay, well, if helping someone creates dependency and there are all these things that go on, and maybe we'll get to this in a minute or we can address it now, when is it okay to help? And how do we know when it's okay to help? And how does that dynamic work? We have an answer, but I'm going to pump the brakes. We'll come back to that. I'm just going to tease it out. I figured we'll go there in a minute. Let's talk about a little more. So we talked about it becoming a situation where that person becomes dependent on you, right? Where you are successful and there's dependency is developed. What happens if it goes wrong? If the device is crap?
They're going to blame you. First thing, you told me to do this. And this wasn't, they're going to be blaming.
Yeah, they're not going to take responsibility.
Yeah, there we go. What does blaming do for me? If I get to blame somebody else, what does that do for me? How does that affect me?
Yeah,
I'm not responsible.
Yeah, not off.
Prevents learning, prevents growth.
If I'm not responsible,
yeah.
I mean, what do I get out of not being responsible?
Probably lessens the feelings of guilt. Yeah, not your fault.
I get to blame somebody else. I have no responsibility. I don't have to change. I did everything that this person told me, and it's their fault. Isn't that nice? That's such a nice place to be, you know, not to have
a scapegoat.
Responsibility for
I think that's a dangerous place for a coach who is getting coached on how to do their business, right? A business coach telling you what to do. First of all, they're not really a business coach. They're calling themselves a coach. We understand this term is used for multiple things, but my God, if someone's telling you everything what to do and you're just following it, you're not thinking it through, you're not checking and seeing if it's aligned with you, if it's even something you feel good about doing. I don't know. I think that's a dangerous place for new coaches.
It is. It's a fantastic scapegoat too for the coaches who are
right.
Doing that as well. Coaches. So we lose some accountability, and then if we create this cycle too, right? Let's say it goes right, and there's this cycle of this person who comes to you for advice. It's this dependency thing, right? And we see it manifest itself in personal relationships, but like Jen said, it also manifests itself in some unhealthy ways in business where you just have to, it's like Apple, you know, you buy an iPhone and then you can only buy an Apple brand charger. And then that has to go in with your Apple brand MacBook, and then now I have to buy the watch, and now if I want everything to function right, I have to keep going back to Apple, and I'm codependent.
And then none of it works if you don't have the right account.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, we like Android in this.
That's just me. I like it.
This company.
I'm an Apple person.
I'm also an
Android.
Apple
It's not a
person.
codependent.
I'm speaking on behalf of CLCI.
Good.
I like both.
I'm Xing.
Actually, that's fair. I'm kind of with Lisa there. I have an Apple phone, but I have a Windows PC. So like I'm
Oh wait, I do too.
on both
Yeah.
sides. Yeah. So yeah.
But what ends up happening is we're going back to the same person and the same thing, and it's a dependence, and that person is getting something out of it, and the other person is, and it's just this very sort of. I mean, I guess in some ways it may not be. It might be equal in weird ways, like because they're both getting, but it's not healthy, right? Ultimately, it's not a healthy interaction that's going on. It's sort of like white knight syndrome, like it's, this thought of a white knight riding in and rescuing the damsel in distress. Well, the poor damsel is going to be a damsel for the rest of her life if she does not start learning how to rescue her damn self.
Right.
Don't do anything for her. How did she get in a burning building? She probably did something.
Or here's the flip side of that. She just rescued somebody out of the burning building, and here comes this white knight, and she's getting ready to go back in because there's that one more person, and that white knight just saved the day for no reason.
Yeah. And it's taking all the credit now.
Yeah.
Is it Shrek like that? That's Shrek. Pretty sure that's how
I was
Shrek-
thinking it was Shrek 2 as well. Same thing.
But there is these kind of scary sort of imbalanced things that can happen, and it's unhealthy for both sides. It can be unhealthy for the person receiving the help, and it can be unhealthy for the person giving the help. And then when we introduce things like dark traits in people, it gets even scarier. So in this realm of coaching, and in this realm of, I love all the commentary, of helping people, what is the difference between being like a savior and being a partner or an ally?
Go ahead, Lisa.
I'm stuttering. Get it out. I think of team. When you were saying that, how do teams work together? They don't do each other's roles. They kind of, maybe there's a little bit of overlap in those roles, right? So in a team, we're learning how to move together, but I'm not rescuing that person.
I think that, and I'm answering my own question, and I hate doing that, so I'm going to shut up.
Don't do it.
No, go for it.
I think that we have to, it's that this sense of imbalance that comes up where if you've got somebody who's being an eternal rescuer, they're assuming that somebody is always a victim. And what that's doing is dismissing all of the strength and control and power that victim has, and sort of they end up in this role of help me, need help. But when it becomes balanced is when both sides can be weak, when both sides can be vulnerable, and both sides can and need help and not have, be able to reach out and help, but also both sides have strengths. And so it becomes this, okay, your strengths, you're able to help me here, I can help you here, and then we can become a better and stronger unit, and because we're both employing our strengths. And so it's really not two become one, but one become two.
It's the gears. It's how the gears turn. Yeah. Mhm.
I where in the other situation, I don't think they're staying one. Like if you think of the victim as, and here's my audio digital brain coming in. If you think of the victim as, functioning at 25%, and our hero is coming in at 75%. Neither is a full person, really. And they're making one whole human being at the end. But if both people are functioning, at their 100 or even at 80%, and they come in and those strengths come in together, then they're functioning at 160, and that's so much better. And you're everybody is getting a chance to be vulnerable and take a break and breathe when they need to and ask for help, and then that lets the other person shine. But it's like this reciprocity, this flow, this what's the word I'm looking for? Symbiotic sort of relationship, and I think that's a big difference between like a symbiosis and just parasitical.
I don't think the percentages in the coaching relationship, like, do you think it's 50-50? Do we think it's 100-100? I mean, what? I don't know. That's got me thinking in that term.
I actually do want to touch on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lisa.
So I think it's 100-100. The reason, because we're partnering with them. We're not taking over their experience, right? We're partnering with them through the process that they're sharing with us. And I think what maybe is coming to mind is that 80-20 rule, where that client is supposed to have the floor and ownership of what they're sharing, and the time that they're speaking, where we're not speaking nearly as much. Doesn't mean we're not 100% present and right there partnering with them with that process.
It's that we're utilizing different strengths
Yeah.
at that point, right?
Yeah. The gears, pretty much. Yeah.
So we're not coming at it halfway. I'm not only 20% present.
Right.
And only 20% doing something as a coach and letting the client work that 80%. We're both coming in hopefully at 100. I'm not going to say everybody has to be 100% every day. Maybe we're coming in at 80. Maybe we're coming, I'll try to get there, but I'm not going to hold myself.
Be human. We're human. We're not robots. Yeah.
But we're coming in and that's, we're doing using our strengths so that they can use their strengths and start to sort of employ more and bring out more of, and sometimes it might just be getting them to acknowledge they are capable of doing 100%, capable of being a whole person. Pretty awesome. Anthony, do you have a thought?
Yeah, but it's kind of not related to anything we've been talking about.
Oh, well, that's good.
I mean, it's not like in this specific thread of conversation. It's still related to the main topic. I was thinking about the reasons why people do this whole savior complex thing. What motivates that? Question would be: and Brooke, you'll enjoy this because you've been watching The Good Place. Are we ethically obligated to help people? First, from the perspective of like a human being, and then from the perspective of ICF coaches. The answer, my guess, is no. But
that's a deeply philosophical question, and
but
you have to define help, right? What do you mean when you say help? I mean, that's not.
Yeah, and how can we know? Don't we have to assume a degree of omnipotence in order to assume we're capable of helping in a way that is going to do more harm than or do more good than harm?
Okay, but let me illustrate this with a example where it's pretty clear that some people might feel like if I don't help someone else who needs help, I am a bad person. And if I help somebody who needs help, I'm a good person. You all see, a child drowning in a pond.
Oh, yeah, jumping in.
Well, that's a pretty drastic example.
But
I'm jumping in as long as I can swim, and I'm not going to drown too.
But hold on. I'm not done with the mental exercise, and this is coming from, I think, like Peter Singer. I think it's like the ethical philosopher guy who came up with this. You'd have to jump in the pond to save the child. However, you're carrying, electronics on you. You don't have time. Like if you throw them down, or if you jump in the pond, you're going to ruin your like thousands of dollars with like your laptop or your phone. Or whatever.
Yeah, it's a life.
Okay. And
Hold on.
Yeah.
I have another question. Will I also drown when I jump in to save the child?
No, probably not.
Fully capable of saving the child.
It's like 5 feet of water.
It's very important. It's the only way I could go along in this analogy. I had to.
But the point of this exercise is you're risking, like monetary loss, and it's annoying and it's taking out part of your day, but you're saving someone who obviously needs your help.
Yes.
Yeah, not even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big difference is it's a child too.
Okay, but where I'm establishing though that this is a scenario where you are literally saving someone.
Okay.
Where if you did not intervene, a bad outcome would happen.
Okay.
It's pretty very dumb example, but it obviously shows that most people would say, yes, you are morally obligated to help out this person.
Well, give us a less extreme example.
Well, every less extreme example follows from like coaching or people who have this idea that I should help people whenever I feel like they need help to help them avoid bad outcomes. So
I will have like kind of an opposite response sometimes though, and maybe that's the coach in me, where I'm like, nah, I'm not helping. They gotta figure it out. Like, and yes, it can be hard. I went through this with my sister. I mean, where there were moments where it was really tough. I tried, I helped, I screamed, I did everything I could, and found out I was freaking powerless. And she had to go figure her way through it all. And even still now, I'm kind of, I help here and there now that she's better, but I still want her to have the self-esteem to be able to like, I helped myself. So I'll have kind of sometimes an opposite reaction where I'll be like, this is where you've called me a optimist though, where I'll be like, well, they gotta screw up so they can, it's fine. Let them screw up so they can figure it out. Because I think I'm going to do more harm by helping at that point. Anthony will say though that I assume they're going to figure it out, which makes me an optimist.
Which we could, well, let's also apply that to the drowning child situation. They can learn how to swim.
Okay, yeah,
I'm harming them by helping.
That's totally different. I mean, now
we're not talking emergency.
If they've got floaties on and they're freaking out, but they're wearing a life vest, and I know they're not going to drown, then let them freak out a little until they realize, oh, I'm okay. Okay, but there's like this general. It's not like their life is in the balance. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I would like to
donating to charity. I'll donate to. Sorry, and I'll shut up in a second.
No, go for it. No.
Like if there's something like major going on where it's like obviously this is like a situation where there is a moral, not a moral imperative, but I feel called to assist in a way that I know there's a help, like after a disaster, or I'll help.
But that's the thought process that goes through these people's heads, though, when they see these situations. I don't think it comes from these like, oh, I want to look like a good person kind of thing. I think people who have these savior complexes genuinely believe that I am morally obligated to help people, even if it doesn't seem like it's like life and death situation. If I have the means and capability of helping somebody, then I should do that to avoid being a bad person.
And I think you're totally right, Anthony. I think a lot of the coaches do come in and are shocked when we tell them, no, that's not what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And they don't quite know, some of them don't quite know what to do with themselves to get out of their own way, to create a new way to interact with others and not take over. Because what you're describing is someone taking over and being in charge. And like Brooke said earlier, I'm better. I'm better than you because I've got the answers. And it is just not the way to be with anyone, let alone emergency. We're not talking, somebody's life or death kinds of things. That's without, we're definitely, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but in coaching, we're not really talking about life and death necessarily, right? That's going to be more, again, into counseling and therapy. We're not talking to anyone that's typically in that space. And so to act that way is a really big mistake.
Well, also there's the phrase, and Ryan, I don't know if we need to come back to you because I know.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever. This is what we
Ryan has
do.
been cut off twice now. I just want to point.
It's all good. I'm enjoying it.
But
No
there's
stress.
a phrase: you lead a man or teach or get a man to fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for life. And I think that exists for a reason. What often happens, people with the savior complex, is they're coming in and putting band-aids, right? But what they're not doing is addressing bigger, deeper, more. They're not getting the whole picture. They're seeing a quick solution, a quick fix.
To a snapshot. Yeah.
Yeah, here, take some money. That's probably might temporarily, in some cases, yeah, that might be just the thing, right? Crap, I want to go to college. If I just had this amount of money, $5,000, I'd be there. I'm in. I mean, not that college costs $5,000. Let's just say, that fine. Okay, I see that. That's great. Okay, problem solved. You're in a good place. You're working towards it. At the end of this, hopefully, you can fish. The other end, though, if it's I need money to feed myself. Here's money, but that's not going to do much. And when that money runs out, it's exactly treating symptoms, not the illness. And not to say that anybody's ill or broken, or
would you say that's coach the problem rather than coach the person? Yeah,
100%,
that's what I think too.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, Ryan, it's quiet. Let Ryan go.
So a lot of what's coming up for me is living in the unknown. I feel like a lot of the time when we want to avoid the unknown and make sure that every aspect of what we're trying to fix is a definite, we know this, I'm going to fix it so I can avoid this absolute definite outcome. That's where the toxic savior mindset kind of comes in, because I've been in situations myself where I'm like, I know for a fact if I don't help this person, then this is going to happen. How do I know that though? How do you know 100% that this is going to happen? And that's why I actually really enjoyed Anthony's kind of example, because for the most part, in all the details he gave us, we knew that the child would drown if we did not help. So it was an easy, quick answer because, of course, obviously.
But maybe that child is just a really good actor and they're faking it.
Exactly. And that's where, as you start to think about it, other details come in and you're like, okay, maybe they don't need help, or maybe they are learning how to swim. You were passing by a family that's teaching their child how to swim, and there's an adult 2 feet
and
away.
Right out of the point of view.
Right out of frame. Exactly.
And
that's where more details come in.
Guy running in and picking up another man's child, and it just got weird.
Yep. Exactly. And so being comfortable in the unknown and allowing situations to develop, especially as it comes to coaching in those scenarios, sitting in that unknown, being with the client, making sure that they're comfortable in their unknown, and exploring the options, exploring the details, and exploring their own mindset, I think is where letting go of that savior comes in.
Here's maybe a tricky part for these people who might be struggling with the savior complex. What happens if the forecasted bad outcome does happen? How do I avoid? Well, how do I avoid?
We invite him to this one. The bad thing happens. Oh my god!
I'm saying, how do we assist those savior complex people when bad things might happen? A good thing might happen. You'll be pleasantly surprised. You'll say, "Okay, being a coach was great. Stepping back, being in this realm of uncertainty, I trusted myself, and it was all good." What happens though when it's bad and the bad thing happens and your inclination is, I was right, I should have helped them?
Well, that's the other thing. It's like, we're doing a lot of assuming, right? Yeah. So much assuming is going on, and there's so many things we don't know, and so many little elements that are not in our knowledge, and you're even assuming that it went the exact way, because it probably didn't, because it's probably not possible. The other thing too is what is your responsibility? At what point is another human being and the things they're doing your responsibility?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're a coach, none.
Yeah.
harm yourself, harm to
You're a
others.
therapist, there might be a little bit of a higher
I think
bar,
it's
but-
defined by the law as long as you're not your child
Yeah.
who you are responsible for until the age of 18 or until they achieve independence.
Really.
You're otherwise not responsible for anybody else and what they do. Or maybe if you're somebody's boss and there's a work situation, yes, there are other scenarios, but I mean, it's pretty clearly defined. And outside of that, why are you taking responsibility for the actions of somebody else and outcomes of somebody else's life? I know a lot of parents do that. Well, no matter, most parents, I think, do it. It's the whole life of their child. But
Okay, so we've asked the question,
Yeah.
why are you taking responsibility for someone else's life? How do we break that when that is the default mindset of people who feel like they should save everyone?
I think it's turning it inward and becoming your own savior and focus on saving yourself and feeling that accomplishment, feeling that value will have you less focused on doing it for others.
and this is like less than a coaching space, but if you're doing internal work, ask the question, why do I feel the need to save this person? What does that do for me? What do I get from saving this person? And keep asking that, with each answer. Well, it feels good. Okay, why does it feel good? Well, it feels good because I feel validated. Okay, what does validation get me? Well, validation gives me self-esteem and it makes me feel worthy of love. Okay, so what is being worthy of love? Well, it makes me feel like I'm lovable and I can exist in this world. Well, then why am I, how can I give that to myself?
Exactly.
And then, you sort of start to go through those internal work questions and then come to a space where, hey, I can provide this for myself instead of seeking it by getting it from other people. Because what happens if now we're talking about what happens for us as the coach, right? We sort of talked about what happens for the person we're helping, but for me, the person that is helping, what happens when my help fails? How does that make me feel if I'm putting all of my love, if my ability to be somebody who is loved and matter and be enough comes from my ability to help people? What happens when my help doesn't help? That's hard, right? Boom.
Yeah, you're going to make that mean a lot of stuff about you.
Yeah, there's a lot of different directions you can go with that, because you can go to the self-depreciation value with that, or you can go into then reflecting that blame back on the other person. Well, they didn't do it like I said. And still come up, thinking I'm better than. So better than, worse than, it's not a good picture.
Yeah.
And that's something that happens in classes. They go, well, all of my worth is in my advice. That's why I'm here. What am I without my advice?
Everything.
You are a listener.
Everything.
There's a whole new skill set that you hone and you become valuable with that.
Everything.
But it shatters some people. Some people still get pissed. Some people don't finish class because they're like, nah, I thought this was different. I'm out. It happens.
Not many, because once they get into the skill set of understanding, when we get into breakouts, that opinion shifts rather quickly.
Yes, but not everybody. Some people they're that tied to it that they are just not willing.
Yeah.
Which is, again, that means that there's some internal work that can go on. One of the coolest things, and this will be my final thought, I'm going to shut up and then you guys take over.
We haven't heard from Jerome, so.
I know, Jerome.
Yeah.
One of the last things, though, that was said in one of these videos that I thought was really powerful was, the more that I work on myself, the less I will feel the need to help other people. Which, mind you, that doesn't mean that I'm just becoming this selfish, self-absorbed person, a narcissist, but it just means that I will learn how to internally validate, and I'm not going to be needing to help you to get self-worth. And it's, I wouldn't want to go to a coach that if I messed up, it was going to break my coach. Like if I didn't do things right or things didn't go well, my coach is going to think, oh man, I don't want my coach to feel bad. I messed up. Like, I don't want to go in to that guilt trip. Yeah, I don't want that guilt trip. I'm not going back to that coach.
That'd be terrible.
One of the things I picked out from what we read today, and I love the 4 agreements, 5 agreements, whichever book you are attached to, with Miguel Ruiz. In several different articles, I saw his perspective of take nothing personal, number 2 on his list. Take nothing personal. And that's, a difficult thing at times, and other times pretty easy.
Bless you.
Nice.
Bless you.
Pat looks like he's having well, not anymore, but he looked like he was in conversation with Harry's
Oh,
back.
that's funny. Okay, Jerome.
Oh, well, I mean, we're getting close to final thoughts, so I guess I can give mine. I know I started off a little chatty, but you guys started having some real conversation that I started to enjoy, so it's that bad. But I will give my final thought, and it's Lisa. Before anyone hopped on, just me and Lisa, waiting for everyone to show up, and I mentioned that a lot of the savior complex traits I fall into. And what I've really done to help myself with it, I mentioned to her I'm working on it. What I've really done to help myself with it is help or try to be more self-aware. And when it comes to an instance where somebody might need help, understanding that you don't have to save them. There's a difference to me from saving somebody and helping somebody. Saving somebody goes way beyond helping somebody. Helping somebody is if they ask for it and they genuinely need it, then you can go ahead and assist them with that. And then boom, you can close the book on that. Saving somebody is almost impossible. That's something you've got to, that's that's internal. You can't save anybody from something that they're dealing with themselves. At least in my experience, I've ended up looking like a fool trying to do it multiple times. So, and really, really hurt myself doing it as well. Drain myself of energy, resources. So that to me, I think just with experience, really defining what helping somebody is and saving somebody is has really helped me proceed as someone who I think I have a bit of a savior complex that, like I mentioned, I'm working on.
Jen.
Final thoughts. The more I think about it, the more I realize that helping others it's just how I want to express myself. It's like how I want to be in the world. And so is it tied to my self-worth? Maybe sometimes, but in the end, I want to help others because I have inherent self-worth, right? I don't need to help. Right. It's not, I don't need to help others to feel worthy. It's I'm worthy. Therefore I want to help others in the world. It's a reverse. And I just realized that.
Yeah.
Something that's coming forward for me is the word dependence. So I think that I'm helping someone as long as I'm not making them dependent on me. Right. Yes. So when we're coaching, we're actually coaching towards client independence. We say we want to coach our clients out of our job, essentially. Mm-hmm. So we want to coach them to a point that they realize, man, I got this. I can do this. I don't need you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the big difference is. So if I'm in a situation where somebody's dependent on me, they have to keep coming back to me. They need me to succeed, to exist. That is not what I want. How I want to help. But if how I want to help is help people so that they can be more independent, so that they can realize that one day they'll be able to help others in the same way or back. And I think that's the kind of help I want to create. Yeah. A help that is capable of being reciprocal and a help that is capable of being passed forward to others.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, I think what comes up a lot for me is I used to call myself a massive people pleaser. And just in this conversation, I think that is a very soft line between people pleasing and savior complex, at least in my past, in my experience. And kind of like Jen and Jerome have said, just acknowledging that I can't save and I am worth it. So the help that I do provide I'm not doing it to better the other person. I'm doing it to put my thoughts out, and what they do with it is what they do with it. And so kind of releasing myself from responsibility of their actions and taking responsibility for what I do and the actions that I put forth, it has definitely helped me kind of break out of the people-pleasing mindset and out of that savior complex and have a healthier relationship with helping people. And even just accepting help myself. I used to also have this burden mindset. Like, I don't want to be a burden to anybody, so I'm going to help you, and you don't have to help me. Oh, don't worry about it. And so, it puts stress on other people. Like, oh, but you helped me. I've got to reciprocate. It's like, no, don't do that. So, a lot of growth for sure.
It's not really reciprocating. It's also an invitation to get to know you and get to know a deeper side of who you are that for some reason doesn't seem to really happen until we get into those kind of dynamical, I know I made up a word, conversations, right? We're trying to be in empathy, we're trying to have compassion, but we don't own the show. It's whoever's person we're speaking with, they're the one that owns the show. We're just there to help navigate with them and where they want to go.
Absolutely. I am nor the sun or the earth. I am the moon that orbits around.
Yeah.
Okay. That will wrap up our CLCI Live on Spooky Scary 101. The Savior Complex.
I know it's not that scary, but it is scary as a coach to think that I could destroy people by helping people. So that's why I
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
What we ended on wasn't scary. We got to end on something scary.
I think
What are we?
next week's topics are going to be the sneaky, the hidden traps that you find in the self-help world. So
Nice.
hidden destructive things,
Yeah.
scary things that are in the self-help world you may not realize until
Yeah,
you're
that's a
already
good
in
one.
them. So you're already trapped. Which is scary, in my opinion. And then the final week of Scary 101, I think if we're going to do, then the following week, we're going to talk about Machiavellianism. And then the last week will be about phobias.
So you all have to read The Prince by Machiavelli.
Yeah, go read
Signed reading.
before.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, comment, take our class. We will not be saving you in class at all. If you're struggling and need help, we will not assist
Oh
you.
my gosh.
We will make you figure it out yourself. No, just, we will.
Learn how to fish.
No, that's not true because we
We
have
will
here.
help you. Because we're not coaching entirely. We're teaching. And teachers are allowed to help their students.
There you go.
All right. We will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Once again, this is brought to you by Certified Life Coach Institute. We're an ICF accredited school who certifies our life coaches in 3-day online intensive courses. In addition to other podcast episodes, feel free to check us out every Tuesday at 4:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on YouTube or Facebook for our CLCI Lives, where we get together and discuss various topics that are centered around sharpening your skills so you can become a better certified life coach. For more information, feel free to visit us at certifiedlifecoachinstitute.com. Until next time, be well.